Street of black light. Street of black light. Street of black light. Move down, Papa, don't you blow.
And now for the unboxing. This is the Cambrian Fun Mustang P51. The catalogue number is CA03. You have to specify onto the account that you want an electric one, otherwise you will get some parts missing. The reason I got the box like that, because there's glare off the light and I haven't got my normal stand with me, so it was a compromise between showing you the box lid and getting rid of the glare of the light. So if I tip the camera up anymore, you just get flare out. So there you go. What can you do? I have to apologise. I am not a well bunny, so I've escaped to the workshop and I feel dreadful. Some of you may be pleased by that, I don't know. So what do we get in the box? Okay, we get a set of wings. Now the wings come covered in a veneer. Do not throw this away. Do not throw these away. You will need them. Have you got that? Okay, and what you have is a veneered wing. Do not get these wet. They will bubble. So you have to seal them. Okay? So they get damp, it sort of lifts and bubbles. So you have to seal these. Now you can seal these either with epoxy resin, or you can use dope, mixed dope with micro balloons. If you don't know what micro balloons are, I'll show you in a short while. And you fill all the grain in, and then you can sand it all down with the smoothest, or because I'm not feeling very well, I've lost the will to speak English, glass paper, the finest glass paper you can get, and that will seal that. On this you need to put on the leading edge and the trailing edge. Now, much to my amusement, I've seen some guys trying to do this and they're just going about it all the wrong way, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna show you how. It helps if you've already made the ME109, and the reason it helps is because the instructions for the ME109 has the instructions of how to mount the motor. Now when you order this, this should have come with those instructions, but they didn't. So I had to phone Steve in Stourbridge, which is about an hour's drive from me, maybe an hour and a half, something like that, and say, can you email me those ME109 instructions? And he did. So I printed them off, and there's the instruction sheet. Now why do you need that? Well, you need that because he can't bother himself to make a different front sheet. Well done, Steve. Okay, so yeah, and you'll see it tells you to start with the wing, which is not a bad place to start. Okay, so get him to send this to you if he hasn't put it in the box. Okay, I think it's just a case of he forgot. Anyway, but the instructions you do get are these. Okay, and this has not got the instructions for the electric motor and mount. So you have to combine this with the Cambrian Fun ME109 instructions and blend them together to get your motor mount in the right place, and so forth and so forth. Okay, now this is not the first time I've made one of these. I particularly like the Cambrian Fun Fighter. They make a fantastic slope soarer, by the way. In fact, probably the best one, I think, is probably the Spitfire. You have to put a lead weight in the front, take the motor out, whatever it is, and put a lead weight in. I can, if I really need to, is go up in my loft and go and weigh the lead that's in the front. And what I do for I just said it, didn't I? Come on, Nick, you're not that ill. For the slope soarers is you get some Play-Doh or clay or something like that, something the kids use, and you get the nose cone. This was, let's see if I got a nose cone. That hand, yeah. What you do, you press the nose cone in, okay, and that makes a mould. You then calculate how much lead you need to make it balance. Well, if I can find the Spitfire in my loft, because I've not been slope soaring for a very long time, what you can do then is you get what you could do, I think actually how I did it was, that's right, I know what I did. I took this part off. And don't forget, I did this about 20 years ago, and I've forgotten. You take this part off, which unscrews. You push. You fill this with plaster of Paris. That's how I did it. I remember now. You let it go rock hard, because then you got the inside diameter. That's how I did it. I remember now. You push that into the plasticine. Remember the word, or whatever you want to use. You could use blue tack, I suppose, if you're frivolous, but I use plasticine. I remember doing it. And then you melt some lead, the correct amount of grams. You pour it into the mould, you let it go off for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, and it sets rock hard. And then you pull the mould out, and that will seat exactly inside of that nose cone, and your slope soarer will be perfectly balanced. If it's not quite balanced, if it's not quite heavy enough, just put a little bit more in, doesn't matter. But the majority of it will be in there, because it's quite a weight, and it will penetrate the air very, very fast. So for slope soaring, these are excellent. If you want a World War II slope soarer, get yourself a Cambrian Fun Fighter. The wings lend itself to it because of the washout, and they create a lot of lift. So there you go, that's that bit. So what else do you get in the box? Well, you get one or two bags. Let's see, are they numbered? I thought they were. No, they're not all of them anyway. I happen to know from experience that's the front of the aircraft. Okay, top deck of the aircraft. That is part of the covering that hides the motor, the very front. Is there anything with numbers on here? No? Okay. Well, then you get your formers, and I'll show you how you recognise your formers if they've got no numbers on or any reference. So what you need to do is, once you found the reference number, is write it on the former. What must you do? Write it on the former. Okay, there is something here, I think, that's got something on it. Yeah, a number 8. And I'm not really sure what that is, can't remember. Been a long time since I've done one of these, and I know that that goes forward. I just happen to know that. Okay, now I saw some chat online, because sometimes I have a little bit of a nose, see what other people have done, not necessarily with this one, but with like the Messerschmitt 109 and so forth. And I saw this guy completely cock it up and made himself a task simply by not applying himself. Now I'll tell you what he did. let's have a look here, see if I can find the actual part I'm looking for. Ah, I think this is it, not sure. There's bits of wood in the way. Ah, it's not. I'll have to try and find it. But what he was doing was, he had the front firewall, okay, and he hadn't marked where you put the dowel in that holds the wing. And all you have to do is take that former, lay it flat on the plan, draw a line through it, find the centre, okay, and then you get your gauge. This one's in millimetres, so you know what size hole to put in for your dowel. Now let's see what size this is. I'm pretty sure this is going to be either a 5mm or a 6mm. I think in American speak that's 3/16. How about that? Was the top of my head. Yeah, you guys need to get with the program. Anyway, let's have a look. Where's the dowel gone? I happen to know that's the dowel. There you go. But there's your dowel. So that goes in the leading edge of your wing. This then goes into the front of the model. Holds the wing in. So how do you know what size hole you need? Well, if you've got your gauge, yeah, there you go, you just offer it up until it goes through, and that says, don't know if you can see that, 6.5. Now for our American cousins, because I'm not daft, well I am daft, right, I have that in Imperial because I'm that generation, and so is our adulted Mr. Harvey. I can't remember now if he's older or younger than me. I think he's older. It did come up in the interview some time ago, and I can't remember. No doubt he'll comment. Anyway, so I push this through. There you go. That says 1/4. Yeah, 1/4. So for all you Americans out there, that's a quarter drill bit. Okay, so I'm giving away all the secrets, what you need to do before I've even started. Take away all the guesswork and all the fun of it. That's what it's all about. It's about learning from past mistakes, isn't it? Mainly my past mistakes, and you can avoid them. And this one here, some of them are marked. Got 21 on there, 29. This looks like the wing tips, which are 18. Oh no, there's a wing tip. There's a wing tip. Okay, and you need to shape them. So you need some very, very coarse glass paper. If you happen to have one, I don't think I have it right here with me now, you could do with a hand shaper. It's usually a blue thing, and you can put what we call I'm losing the will to. Yeah, there's one. There you go. You put one of them in. Except you use a sharp one and a new one. Well, that's what they look like. And they go in, and you use it as that little hand plane, and you shave it all off. Do not go against the grain, go with the grain. Do not try and use your planer when you've been sanding it, because there'll be glass in the wood from the glass paper. It's not sand, it's not sandpaper, it's glass paper, and it will blunt your blade. Mind you, I've got dozens of these, so it doesn't really matter too much. But I'm just giving away all the secrets here. So there you are, you get that as well. You get your cut pit. This one is absolutely tip top, and there are your exhaust stacks. I will show you how to take this out. Do not use a knife. What don't you do? Don't use a knife. Don't use a knife to take this out. Okay, I'm going to tape all this up, and I'll do my very utmost to make this look as chrominized as I can. The same with the exhaust stacks, except they'll be off chrome. They'll be more like an aluminium. And when you come to paint the exhaust stacks, always remember the front one is black, because the rest of them stain this way. So your front one will be black, and these will be like stained grey and so forth, or rusty colour. But your front one will be perfect, because it's not been heated up as much. There you go. I thought about that, did you? What the hell's that in there? Something green. I'll have to get it out at some point. So keep it wrapped up in your paper. Okay, we'll put that there for now. You're going to get your bits of wood, your tail plane. Try and keep it in the box. You don't want to dent it or anything like that and end up filling things in and so forth. It's come out in good condition. Obviously, you know, if this has been laser cut, so what you want to do is just lightly take that burnt bit off, because nothing will stick to it. Okay, what won't it stick to? Anything burnt. That's the film, by the way, or whatever you're using. You're going to get some balsa. This is for making up the sides of the fuselage, or the fuzz as we say in the UK. These are coffee stirring sticks that I pinched from a shop in Tamworth. They're just for mixing epoxy resin. Cost me nothing. Well, it cost them, I suppose. Don't know how much. 0.000 recurring. I don't actually know what that's for. I think that's for going on the back of. Well, you just picked it up, you crazy guy. That is. So what you do is you cut slots into that and you put the mylar hinges in. Okay, because this will fly fast and you want some strength in it. Okay, you get some snakes. Come on, there you go, some snakes. All right, you only need the elevator, unless you're doing IC, internal combustion, but we're doing electric. Everything I do is electric now. I don't bother with IC. Internal combustion, it's just mucky, loud, dirty. Anyway, there you go. So you get all your little bits and bobs. That looks to me like it's going to be the air intake at the back. I've got to look into this, because I've never made a P51 from wood before, and I'm just thinking, will that shear off on landing? Should I put magnets on it and allow it to come off so it's loose, so I can just stick it back on again? I'll have a bit of a think about that. Okay, you get your rudder. Alright, and you get some, there's your fuselage sides. Now, it's highly worth, if you've got any spare ply, is to copy these, mark them out, because if you crash your model, these are easy to fix. I cannot tell you how easy these are to fix if you crash it. In fact, I'll go and get a fuzz out that I have crashed. I crashed a slope saw Emmy 109. I wasn't looking where I was going. There was a big boulder right off to my right, and I didn't see it, and it was too late. I was straight into it. But because I copied it, it was easy. It was easy. I'll go and see if I can find it next video. Okay, so that's what you get in the box, and then you get your drawing. Now, the problem I've seen others do on YouTube is they don't look at the drawing. If you've got a plan, it's not there for colouring in. It's there to assist you in finding out how it goes together. Now, I probably should change the angle of the camera. See how we get on. There you go. Ooh, there's the glare gone. Okay, so what was I talking about earlier? Well, in this instance, the guy on the YouTube channel, he had to put the dowel on the here, it's on the back. You had to put the dowel in here. Well, what he should have done is he's got the former, put it to the plan, mark the centre hole, find out what drill bit it is, offered the wing up and popped an hole through. Easy, 10 seconds. So what he should have done is waited until I came. Anyway, but in this instance, the dowel is at the back. So you put the winging like this. Okay, so we know that's a quarter. So it might be worth, let me just tip this down because of the glare. So what we're going to do, so we don't forget, is take our bona fide pencil, which is not made of lead, it's made of graphite, for those who don't know. And I shall write on here, I'll do it, just show you I'm doing it. 1/4. Okay, that means the diameter. Or I can put 6.5, I think it's 6.5, wasn't it? Double check in a minute. So I know what size hole that is. Okay, so I just need to find that, mark it out, which I will show you at some point. I don't know whether you saw that or not because I couldn't see the screen. And this is here to assist you to build the model. You don't just look at the instructions. Now the one thing I will be doing differently, and I always do it differently with the Cambrian Fun fighters, they ask you to put and mount the servo on its side using 2 pieces of ply. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set that in directly horizontal with the bottom at the bottom basically. Carve that out, set it in, and it's direct drive. You haven't got to crank anything, and I don't see the purpose of it. It will give you more control, and it's less work. And you'll see that you've got all these bits here. You get these parts here. I don't know where they were actually. I'll probably put them in somewhere else. Just see. Now, what are you going to need? I'll probably put those parts in here actually. Now, I have got super lightweight glass fibre laminating fabric. This is 34 grams. It's got Uzi 9mm on it for some reason. In the kit, they give you a very coarse bandage here, because what you have to do, where the bases of the wings come together, you have to sandwich that and fiberglass it to give the wings strength. They'll just fold up. Sure as apples grow on trees. But I'm using a finer one. Okay. Oh yeah, they give you this as well. There you go. So you can refer to that. It's just an explosive view that he thinks maybe has some use to you. Epoxy resin. This is for much later on. Or a trim. Because even though I'm intending to use chrome, I want to make panels, so I've got some aura trim. That'll do many models, I expect. As previously mentioned, micro balloons. These weigh absolutely bugger all, and they just turn into dust. You mix that with dope. Okay, I've got a can of dope here somewhere, and of course you've already seen this, your spinner, because you want to decide what colours you're going to use. I'm going to use blue because I quite like blue. G'day blue. Some blue trim on the tail. Now, you're going to need a 7x6E prop. You don't have to use an E, but they are more efficient. You might have to slightly carve out the nose cone, and I may change my mind and just put a normal 9x6 non-E. It'll still work. You know, it's powerful enough. You're going to need 2 servos. I've got Radiant Mini 17 gram analog servo, and these are, I believe, metal. Yeah, they're metal. Now you kind of need metal. Kind of need. That's so American, isn't it? Kind of need. kind of like anyway, you need metal because these fly pretty quick, and if you're doing a sharp turn or pulling up, banking up, you know, it's going to strip the gears, so you want metal ones. Well, at least I think you do. Mylar hinges, I've already got this, there's already Mylar hinges in the pack. I just bought some extra ones, so anyway. You're going to need a receiver. Now I'm thinking about using the safe system. You don't have to use a safe system, but I might try it, I don't know, or I might just put a normal one in, we'll see. But you're going to need a receiver either way. I bought some extra bolts in case I change my mind about how I'm going to put this on with the wing. I bought these clevises, metal, and I'll tell you why. Because they're higher quality than what comes in the box. They're nylon ones that come in the box, and these are very, very easy to adjust if you've got the metal ones, and they're just all round brilliant, you know, better than nylon. So I've got 4 of them. Okay, and what else have we got? They're all important. Now, what am I using here? Well, this is a Trumpeter 1500 kV motor. Now that is a pretty powerful motor. You can fly this on half throttle for a very long time. It's it'll fly at low speeds, low revs and everything else. It's a good aircraft, but if you want to go a bit mental, you can go full on, but I wouldn't do it unless you're an experienced flyer. Okay, and did I get a speed controller? No, it looks like I didn't. What an absolute numpty. Oh, well, not to worry. So there you go. That's your unboxing and your advice on what you've got to buy and everything else. There is a guy, I think his name is Nick Reeves. Go and watch Nick Reeves. He's building a Messerschmitt 109, which gives you a good idea of how this goes together. But we will diverge at some point because he's making his as a slope soarer. I'm making this as a powered model, but obviously he'll have those instructions which you will need. I'm just thinking now, what's up to those bits that was in here? Oh my god! Oh, don't tell me I lost them. They'll turn up. They'll turn up. They always do at some point. So get yourself some plasterboard, 16mm plasterboard, pin it to the board there, and yeah, we shall begin with the wings. So there you go, that's the unboxing. I hope you've get rid of that glare right in the middle there. There you go. Hi, it's me. Cheers, Cliff. Yeah, so there you go, and I'll see you in the next part. I hope you've found this useful up to now. For those of you who don't know about these, it's called a drill gauge. They're stainless steel. This one's fractional size 1/16 to ½ inch. This is drill gauge functional size 1mm to 13mm, and they are most excellent, especially when you don't know what size hole to drill in a bit of wood in the house, because it's better to drill a hole before you put a screw in, otherwise you split the wood. I got that from my father. He was a pattern maker. It's like a carpenter, but it's one on. Thanks, Dad. That was really useful. So what you do is you get a screw, see what size passes through the hole. That's the size drill bit you need. Drill that through your wood. That screw will just go straight in, and it will not come out. It'll be just the right size. The wood will not split, and it looks like you're a professional. And the wife would be very, very impressed. I don't know how much these things cost. I think there weren't much. There weren't much. But just go on to I've had some time actually. Just go onto eBay, type in drill gauge, stainless steel, and they'll do them in fractions and they'll do them in metric. So there you are, and I'll see you in the next part. Oh, I suppose I should mention about the nose cone. What size is it? You'll need it's a 2.5. What am I talking about? It's a 2.25 spinner. A 2.25 spinner in metric. That's 57 millimeters. All right. So get yourself a spinner in the colour of your choice. If you want to put a pilot in, this model is actually it's a 1/10 scale. You can get pilots in 1/9, but they won't quite fit. They'll be too tall, just too big. So you have to go one down. And the only, well, you see, the thing is, if you then it needs to be 50 millimeters high and 50 millimeters wide to fit. I can't find one that will do that. So the only ones I can find, I think they're 42 millimeters. So it's a shame that, but they do go in. They look all right. I got one in the 109. They look all right. They're okay. But there you go. I mean, you could always sink them a bit deeper in, but there you go. Why make more work for yourself? So there you go. So your spinner is 2.25, 57 millimeter. Your pilot needs to be no more than 50 millimeters high, 50 millimeters wide. You need it smaller than that. And if you happen to find one that is 50 millimeters high and wide, let me know, because I'd like to know how to get hold of one. Thanks for watching. Cheerio. Captain Supplemental. Sorry, I found the bits. They're underneath the box. I don't know why they're there. So what you get inside is that bandage there. It's very coarse. I don't like it. That's why I'm using that fine stuff. You get all your push rods with it. There. There's your nylon clevises. You get your little tiny screws, which I think are 2mm, 2B8, something like that. And your control horns. So if you don't want to go out and buy some extra stuff, everything is actually in the box. There's something else I immediately remembered after closing the camera down, was that if you want decals, they don't come with the box. Steve doesn't tell you this. Nice bloke. I mean, he's a nice bloke. Spoke to him a couple of times. Very helpful. But what he doesn't tell you is, on the site when you're ordering these things, is go on to a little tab that says accessories. Okay, and then scroll down to the P51 Mustang, that's serial number CA03, and you'll see the decals, and they're £10. So rather than going to more trouble, I'll have it. They're the right scale, so I'll have it. And obviously I had a speed controller. I just know the box is on top of it. It's an Overlander 40 amp XP2. Okay, there's your speed controller. So there you are, and get your bits. Okay, see you in the next one.
Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.